Number 1. The disappearance of Albert and Henry Fountain. Albert Jennings. Fountain was a prominent figure in New Mexico during the late 19th century, known for his work as an attorney, legislator, and military officer. His disappearance, along with his 8-year-old son Henry, on February 1, 1896, remains one of the most enduring mysteries of the Old West. Fountain was involved in investigating cattle rustling in Lincoln County, a task that earned him numerous enemies among the local ranchers and outlaw gangs. On the day of their disappearance, Albert and Henry were traveling from Lincoln to their home in Mesilla, New Mexico. They were last seen near White Sands. Fountain had received threatening notes prior to their journey, warning him to leave Lincoln County, but he persisted with his legal duties. Evidence suggests that Fountain and his son were ambushed. Their wagon was found abandoned with bullet holes, bloodstains, and Henry's bloodied handkerchief. Nearby, a note was discovered that read, "If you drop this, we will be your friends. If you go on with it, you will never reach home alive." Despite extensive searches and investigations, the bodies of Albert and Henry Fountain were never found. Several suspects were implicated, including prominent ranchers Oliver Lee and James Gilliland, who were known adversaries of Fountain due to his anti-rustling campaigns. Lee and Gilliland were eventually brought to trial but were acquitted due to lack of evidence and the influence of their powerful allies. The mystery deepened with various confessions and claims over the years. In 1937, a dying outlaw, James Gilliland, claimed responsibility for the murders, asserting that he and his associates had ambushed the Fountains. In 1949, Sam Ketchum, another notorious outlaw, confessed on his deathbed that he and his brother, Tom Jack Ketchum, were the real perpetrators. However, none of these confessions led to the discovery of the bodies or irrefutable evidence. The case of Albert and Henry Fountain has become a symbol of the lawlessness and violence that characterize the American frontier. It highlights the dangerous intersection of justice and corruption in the Wild West, where personal vendettas often led to tragic outcomes. The persistence of the Fountain family and local authorities in seeking justice, despite the odds, reflects the enduring human desire to uncover the truth and bring closure to unresolved tragedies. The mystery remains an active subject of interest for historians, law enforcement enthusiasts, and treasure hunters alike, ensuring that the legacy of Albert and Henry Fountain endures in the annals of Wild West lore. Number 2. The Lost Dutchman's Gold Mine. The Lost Dutchman's Gold Mine is one of the most famous lost treasures in American history, reputed to be located in the Superstition Mountains of Arizona. The legend began in the late 19th century when German immigrant Jacob Waltz, known as the Dutchman, a common term for Germans at the time, allegedly discovered a rich vein of gold. Waltz is said to have shared the location with only a few people, including Julia Thomas, a Phoenix bakery owner who cared for him in his final days. Numerous treasure hunters have sought the mine since Waltz's death in 1891. The search is complicated by the rugged terrain and numerous conflicting accounts of the mine's exact location. Some stories suggest Waltz found the mine using old Peralta family maps. Spanish miners, who reportedly worked in the area in the early 1800s. Another layer of mystery involves the disappearance and deaths of many who have searched for the mine, including the tragic fate of Adolph Ruth in 1931, whose skull was found with 2 bullet holes, fueling speculation about the dangers and the mine's supposed curse. Modern searches have utilized advanced technology, but the mine remains elusive. Some theories propose that the mine is a natural cave filled with gold deposits, while others suggest it may have been a carefully hidden stash of already mined gold. Despite the countless expeditions and the local folklore, the Lost Dutchman's gold mine continues to captivate the imaginations of adventurers and historians alike, embodying the eternal allure of untold wealth hidden within the American wilderness. Number 3. Butch Cassidy's fate. The fate of Butch Cassidy, one of the most notorious outlaws of the Wild West, remains shrouded in mystery and speculation. Official accounts state that Cassidy, along with his partner the Sundance Kid, died in a shootout with Bolivian soldiers in 1908. However, doubts about this version of events have persisted. fueled by numerous eyewitness reports and conflicting evidence. Several of Cassidy's friends and family members claimed he returned to the United States after the alleged shootout. Lula Parker Bettinson, Cassidy's sister, asserted that he visited her family in Utah years after his supposed death. Additional accounts from old associates suggest that Cassidy lived under an assumed identity, possibly in Nevada or the Pacific Northwest, where he allegedly ran a small business and lived a quiet life away from his outlaw past. Further complicating the story, DNA tests conducted on the bodies buried in Bolivia were inconclusive, leaving room for continued debate. Historians and enthusiasts have uncovered letters and photographs purportedly from Cassidy, suggesting he survived the Bolivian encounter and lived well into the mid-20th century. Despite extensive research and numerous theories, the true fate of Butch Cassidy remains one of the most enduring enigmas of the Wild West, captivating historians and treasure hunters alike. Number 4. The Doc Noss Treasure. The Doc Noss Treasure, often referred to as the Victoria Peak Treasure, is one of the most tantalizing lost treasures of the American Southwest. In the late 1930s, Milton Doc Noss, a foot doctor and amateur treasure hunter, claimed to have discovered a massive hoard of gold in Victoria Peak, located in the San Andres Mountains of New Mexico. According to Noss, the treasure included hundreds of gold bars, along with other valuable artifacts such as jewels, coins, and historical documents. Noss reportedly found the treasure while exploring a natural cavern and began extracting gold bars over several years. To protect his find, he dynamited the entrance to the cavern, unintentionally sealing it off. This act would later prove to be a critical mistake, as it prevented him from retrieving more of the treasure. Doc Noss's efforts to reopen the cavern were complicated by legal battles, financial troubles, and his untimely death in 1949, allegedly shot by an associate during a dispute. The story gained further intrigue when in the 1950s and 1960s, the U.S. Army took control of the area as part of the White Sands Missile Range. Speculations and rumors flourished about secret government excavations and cover-ups. Some claimed that the military had discovered and confiscated the treasure, but no official confirmation has ever been made. Number 5. Etta Place's Disappearance. Etta Place, companion to the Sundance Kid, remains one of the most enigmatic figures of the Wild West. Her disappearance after 1909 has fueled numerous theories and speculations. Little is known about her early life. She appeared in historical records primarily due to her association with the Wild Bunch Gang. Place was romantically involved with Harry Longabaugh, aka the Sundance Kid, and accompanied him to South America when the pair fled law enforcement in the United States. They settled briefly in Argentina, buying a ranch in Cholila, Chubut province. Their idyll ended when their past caught up with them, leading them back to a life of crime and eventual confrontation with Bolivian soldiers in 1908, which allegedly resulted in the deaths of Longabaugh and Butch Cassidy. The uncertainty surrounding her fate began after this event. Some believe she returned to the United States, possibly assuming a new identity. One popular theory suggests that she lived quietly in Denver under the alias Ann Bassett, a known associate of the Wild Bunch. Another speculation involves her retreat to New York, where she supposedly lived out her days in anonymity. Etta's possible involvement in intelligence work has also been discussed. Her fluency in Spanish and connections with prominent outlaws might have made her a valuable asset during tumultuous periods in South America and the U.S. Despite numerous investigations, no conclusive evidence has emerged to pinpoint her later years. This mystery continues to captivate historians and Wild West enthusiasts, symbolizing the era's blend of romance and danger. Number 6. The Treasure of Black Jack Ketchum. Black Jack Ketchum, an infamous outlaw of the American Wild West, is said to have hidden a substantial treasure that has never been found. Ketchum was a member of the Hole-in-the-Wall gang, known for robbing trains and banks throughout the late 1800s. His treasure is believed to be hidden in 2 primary locations, each filled with loot from his numerous heists. One stash is rumored to be in Wildcat Canyon in the Chiricahua Mountains of Arizona. According to legend, Ketchum buried several $1,000s in a cave, referred to as Room 44. This cave has eluded treasure hunters for decades, despite detailed descriptions and the use of modern technology in attempts to locate it. Another significant part of Ketchum's treasure is said to be hidden near Battleground Ridge, where he evaded a posse by lassoing himself and his stolen loot high into a tree. After several days, he allegedly came down and hid the money between Myrtle Ranch and Gilliland Gap. This cache, like the first, has never been recovered. The mystery of Ketchum's treasure is compounded by his dramatic death. In 1901, Ketchum was hanged in Clayton, New Mexico for his crimes. The hanging went awry, and his head was severed from his body, a gruesome end that only added to his legend. Despite numerous searches and advanced treasure hunting techniques, the exact locations and amounts of Jack Ketchum's hidden fortunes remain one of the most tantalizing unsolved mysteries of the Wild West. Number 7. The Mysterious Duel. The Mysterious Duel, one of the lesser-known but equally captivating tales of the Wild West, centers around a fatal confrontation in a saloon during the late 1800s. Unlike most documented duels, this one has left a significant gap in historical records, making the details both intriguing and elusive. The duel reportedly took place in a remote saloon where two men, known only by their nicknames Red and Blackie, entered into a heated argument. The dispute escalated quickly, leading to an impromptu duel. Witnesses claimed that the men, both armed and notorious for their quick tempers, decided to settle their differences with guns drawn at 10 paces. When the shots were fired, Red fell instantly, dead from a single bullet wound. Blackie, despite initial claims of victory, vanished soon after the incident. Speculation suggests that he either fled to avoid retribution from Red's friends or met a mysterious end himself, as no further records of him exist. Adding to the mystery, the saloon where the duel occurred was reportedly burned down in an unexplained fire shortly after the incident, erasing physical evidence of the confrontation. Locals whispered about a curse, believing the land itself was haunted by the spirits of the men who perished there. Historians and Wild West enthusiasts have searched for more definitive accounts or clues, but the lack of concrete evidence has only fueled the legend. The Mysterious Duel remains a vivid reminder of the lawless and often violent nature of frontier life, where personal grudges were settled with deadly consequences, leaving behind more questions than answers. Number 8. The Ghost Ship of the Colorado Desert. The Ghost Ship of the Colorado Desert is a legendary tale that has captivated imaginations for over a century. According to the legend, a Spanish galleon, heavily laden with pearls and treasures, somehow found its way into the deserts of California, becoming stranded in the Colorado Desert. Various accounts suggest that this could have happened during a period of significant flooding when the Gulf of California extended further inland than it does today. One popular version of the story involves a Jesuit missionary named Father Eusebio Francisco Kino, who purportedly encountered Native American tribes with artifacts from the lost ship. Other versions tell of sightseers and explorers in the 1800s, claiming to see the remains of the ship sticking out of the desert sands. The most intriguing element of these sightings is that no concrete evidence has ever been found, despite numerous expeditions. Some believe that the ship could be a Viking longship, based on artifacts supposedly found near the Salton Sea. This theory, however, is widely dismissed by historians. Instead, the prevailing belief is that if the ghost ship did exist, it was more likely a Spanish galleon that ventured too far inland during a massive flood. The legend persists today, with treasure hunters and adventurers occasionally embarking on quests to uncover the ship's remains and its fabled treasure. Despite the lack of tangible evidence, the story of the ghost ship of the Colorado Desert continues to be a compelling mystery, blending historical possibility with the allure of hidden treasure. Number 9. Jean-Baptiste, the grave robber. Jean-Baptiste, a grave robber in the mid-19th century, is one of the more macabre figures in Wild West history. In 1862, Baptiste was discovered to have been stealing from graves in the Salt Lake City Cemetery. The authorities found hundreds of sets of clothing and personal items in his home, all stripped from corpses he had buried. Upon his capture, Baptiste was tried and, in an unusual form of punishment, exiled to Fremont Island in the Great Salt Lake. This desolate island was chosen because Baptiste couldn't swim, effectively making it a prison. However, when cattle owners returned to the island weeks later, Baptiste was gone. His shack was destroyed, and signs indicated he had tried to escape. Several theories emerged about his fate. Some believe he fashioned a raft from pieces of his shelter and attempted to float to the mainland. A human skull and other remains were later found near the Jordan River, leading some to speculate he perished in the attempt. Others suggested he might have reached shore and blended into the frontier towns, living out his days under a new identity. Adding to the mystery, later reports claimed Baptiste was seen in various places, his ears cut off and his face branded with the words, "Branded for robbing the dead." Despite the gruesome details and varied theories, the true fate of Jean Baptiste remains one of the many unsolved mysteries of the Wild West, encapsulating the era's blend of lawlessness and bizarre punishments. Number 10. The Lost Adams Diggings. The Lost Adams Diggings is one of the most tantalizing treasure legends of the American Southwest. In the mid-1860s, a prospector named Adams stumbled upon a rich gold deposit in what is now western New Mexico or eastern Arizona. According to Adams, he was led to the site by a Native American guide who showed him a canyon with high red walls and a stream that ran over gold nuggets as large as hen's eggs. Adams and his party mined the site for several weeks, amassing a considerable amount of gold. However, a raid by Apache warriors forced them to flee, and in the chaos, Adams was severely wounded and lost his bearings. He managed to escape, but was never able to find the canyon again, despite numerous attempts and detailed descriptions of the landscape, including a distinctive spire-like rock formation at the entrance of the canyon. Over the years, many treasure hunters have tried to locate the Lost Adams Diggings, driven by Adams' accounts and the vast wealth he described. Some have claimed to find it, only to be proven wrong, while others have perished in their quest. The search is complicated by the harsh and often deceptive terrain, with many areas fitting Adams' descriptions but yielding no gold.